today is Jill Sears. She is from what I think one of the most important resources in our area. And I can't even remember what it was like. Well, it was chaotic before the Northern Neck Boys and Girls Club came along for parents and finding care for their children or trusted supervision or whatever they needed. I can't even remember what that was like before the Boys and Girls Club was here. But she is the Resources Development Director for the Boys and Girls Club, and she is here today. If you have not taken a tour of the new building, which we did take a tour this past summer, and it was the building is amazing, and we will plan more tours, dotted throughout the year to go see what's going on. But if you have never been in the new building, you need to go. It's amazing. It's beautiful, well thought out, and I'm sure she'll tell you more about it. So anyway, just welcome Jill Sears, please.
Thank you, and good morning. This is very, very nice breakfast, and I'm so grateful to be here to talk to you all and tell you about the Boys and Girls Club, and hopefully I can point out to you a few things that make the Boys and Girls Club unique and special and truly, like Amy said, an asset for the community and for the young people of our community in particular. The mission of the Boys and Girls Club is to inspire and enable all young people to reach their full potential as responsible and caring citizens. So what loftier goal is that, right? Than to bring up our young ones to be thoughtful and to be responsible and to give back to their community. Hopefully some of you see our frequent press releases, and monthly we recognize a youth of the month or a teen. We recognize a youth and a teen and a Northumberland member of the month. And quite frequently they'll say, we ask them, what do you want to do when you grow up? What would you like to do? And quite frequently they say, I want to give back. I want to do something for my community and I want to give back. So it's something that they're learning at the Boys and Girls Club. We have just finished the fall semester and we had served 199 kids. Jonathan, our operations director, joked he wished he could have just registered one more to get to 200. But in the almost aftermath of COVID, we're really, really proud to be at about 80% of our pre-COVID numbers. There are clubs still that have not reopened across the country and clubs that are struggling to get to 50% of our numbers. So we are back in business and bringing the kids in. The numbers are creeping up little by little. People say, what is special about the Boys and Girls Club? And what I found, and I have a background in another youth development, large youth development organization coming into the Boys and Girls Club, and what I've found is that we are much more than childcare, which a lot of people that come into the facility are like, wow, I had no idea this was going on. I thought the kids just came to hang out. We're much more than childcare. Like I said, we're instilling those values, and we do that through our 3 core values, which are, number 1 for us is academic success, and then healthy living is, I shouldn't say number 1, I should say they're equally as important to one another, but academic success, healthy living, and character and leadership development. And it's one thing to say that you inspire all those things, and it's another thing for us to have programs that are intentionally developed, tested, and proven to show results in each of those areas. So I thought I would just list a couple of the things that we do at the Boys and Girls Club. I wrote them down because I don't want to forget any, and again, they're all important. But academic success starts with our youngest members. We serve children aged 6 through 18 as long as they're still in school. And academic success to us means that our kids are at or above grade level, that they graduate on time, and key is they have a plan post-graduation. It became apparent to us that we had teens that were getting to be juniors and seniors in high school, and we would say, what do you want to do next? And it hadn't been given a thought. So maybe there wasn't a support network or whatever the case may be. It was a day-to-day thing. It wasn't a long-term planning thing. So to support our academic success program, we do Power Hour, which is get that homework done, right? When they get to the club, let's get the books out. Now let's get the computers out. Get the computers out, and let's get the homework done. Check. They don't have to go home and worry about getting it done. The parents don't have to worry about getting it done. If they need help, there's an adult there to help them. We have mentors, we have tutors, we have a reading program. So that's key for us. During the summer, to combat summer learning loss, which you've all heard about, well, now COVID has just exacerbated that. And particularly children of color are disproportionately affected over and over again. So whereas white students might lose, I think that the statistic is something like 10 to 12%. Students of color often can lose up to 20% over the summer. And now with COVID, imagine. So, so over the summer we have a program called Brain Gain. And again, it's fun because it's summer, right? It feels like summer camp, but the kids are learning in a fun way, and they're staying at or above grade level so that when they go back to school, they're ready. We have a program called Mind Up, because something that we've also identified post-COVID, not we've identified, but the world has identified post-COVID, the levels of stress and anxiety in young people are through the roof. And younger children are contemplating suicide and panic attacks and being triggered in ways they hadn't been before. So Mind Up is a program that helps children identify what creates anxiety for them, how to deal with anxiety, and how to manage that so that they can cope. So those are the two programs that we're particularly proud of. And again, all these programs, we keep track of the kids that are involved in these programs and measure their success along the way and recognize it as well. I talked about having plans post-graduation. We have a College Career and Achievement Center, which provides assistance with job applications, college applications if they're going to a 4-year university, a 2-year university. We help them find scholarships, and I think I just said internships. We've had several students placed with Northern Neck Insurance Company, and they've been very successful. We had James this year do an internship at the Northern Neck Insurance Company, and he worked again over the Christmas break. And he gets paid, it's a paid internship, and his money, part of the money goes into a scholarship fund for him through the Boys and Girls Club. So he gets some of it, and we get some of it and help him manage that as well. On top of what you would think of as traditional academics, we also have a designated STEM lab and STEM courses. We have an Arts Plus program that has also been super successful this year, managed by volunteer coordinator, Ms. Ann Vaden. Each month they study a certain artist and a certain type of art, and she brings it full circle. I mean, however you can think of the way that that artist or that painting or that genre of art might have touched their lives. We've had musicians in, we have taken them to Lancaster Players, we've brought, we've had hip-hop dancer come in. So, you know, just any way to reach the kids and expose them to something maybe they wouldn't have been exposed to otherwise, and the joy and the laughter it's wonderful to watch. And in addition to Arts Plus, we have music. So that's in coordination with the Strings Crew. If any of you are familiar with the Strings Crew, the children are learning how to play the violin. They have lessons once a week. They have monitored practice once a week, lesson practice. And if they stick with it through the year, they get to keep their violin. So huge incentive. The kids are all about it. I mean, it's a program. Like you've got to practice, you've got to pay attention, and they're doing it. So we're really, really proud of 6 kids in the music program, and that was our max. We knew we had a certain limitation on that, and the 6 spots went like that, and they're all still in. So very, very exciting. In addition to academic success, I talked about healthy living. A couple of exciting things we've done this year for healthy living. I won't go into all of them, but we have a fantastic team leader who has brought in the middle school basketball team, and they practice at our facility, and that's brought in more teens, right? Teens, by the way, are always free at the Boys Club. We talk about something that sets us apart from another youth development organization. Our youth membership is $15 per semester. Per semester, not day, not hour, per semester. And our teens are always free because we know teens, the younger kids, right, their parents bring them and they drop them off and they can go to work or whatever. They don't have so much choice. Teens start to have a choice, right? They can ride their bike somewhere. When they get their license, they can go somewhere. And we want them to be in a positive, productive environment if possible. So we love having those teams there. We partnered with the YMCA this year and had our youth soccer league. One of our board members, Mr. Carl Femmetzger, is our soccer coach. So he and his son Richie, and they had 2 teams, and I know at least one of the games we won. So that was really, really exciting. The basketball teams, another thing I was proud about with the basketball team is we also have a girls basketball team, so that's pretty cool. And we're looking at adding youth basketball. So we had the teens, we're looking at adding the youth basketball. And we added, and we have always had the big activity center. We added an outdoor basketball court this year, and kids just are able to get out in the fresh air and play. And again, studies show just being outside for a few minutes a day is so good for them mentally. We have been awarded a Get Outdoors grant, and we're going to be improving our outdoor space even. So we're going to install a fitness path along the inside of the perimeter of the fence with a couple of stops. You've probably seen something similar to that. It won't be huge, but it will be enough to have maybe 3 stations where they can walk and stop and do squats or pull-ups, and it will also provide a stop where they can just have some quiet time. Because we see too, there's a lot going on in the club, and imagine if there's 100 kids and there's a lot of noise and a lot of activity, and sometimes you just need a minute. And so part of our outdoor planning space is going to be to have a place where the kid can have a minute, right? So if they've identified, I'm having a terrible day, I just can't deal with it, someone will help them find this spot so they can rest and regroup and rejoin the group when they're ready or if they're ready. Couple of other super healthy living programs that's so popular is our Teen Chef program. Again, if you've seen our press releases, we've done several on them because it's just so much fun. The kids love to learn how to cook different kinds of food from different cultures. Richie, that runs the program, does a great job of talking about the nutritional values of the food and the different cultures for the food. So we have an anime club, which is Japanese artwork, and so they've done some Japanese food and tied it into the anime club. So I think Amy mentioned when she was talking about the facility is beautiful, and it was built, I say, intentionally to create spaces where kids can be inspired. So it's not just functional, it's beautiful and intentionally made to create spaces for kids to learn. We say learn, grow, and become whatever they want. We want to inspire them to be their best. Teen Chef, and it was so popular we added Youth Chef this year, so now our younger kids are baking, and of course we're trying to tie that into science and STEM a little bit, so that's great. We do yoga at the Y on Mondays. They're doing dance therapy. You may have seen in the paper this week, Morgan Rose is a principal ballet dancer, and she's doing some, they call it dance therapy. It's kind of Tai Chi and yoga and dance. I wish I could go. It's Thursdays at 11, I think. But anyway, we're Kids in the Boys and Girls Club are going over and participating in that class. So super exciting things for them to do. And over the summer, we had 3 donors put together funding for us to be able to provide free swimming lessons through the YMCA for 100 kids, right at 100 kids. And that's a 3-year running program. And our hope there is to provide community for kids through the Y, Kids in the Boys and Girls Club, playing together, learning together, hopefully, doing community things together, projects together, and learning a life skill. So living here on the water, there are a lot of kids that don't swim, and learning to swim is huge. They culminated the swimming project with a trip to Colonial Beach. I think Jonathan took 90 kids to the beach, if you can imagine. I think they had three bus loads of kids, and they brought them all back. They came back with 90, they left with 90, they came back with 90, so we were all like, whew, okay, you did it. But it was a crazy fun day for everyone. Along with the sports and other programming, we have a national Boys and Girls program called Smart Girls, and it's for our younger girls, so 6 to 10-year-olds, and it's about making smart choices. It's about learning, you're learning to own your body, your personal space, make smart choices, and as they grow into adolescence, it can be a tricky time. We all remember, right? The last core value that I talk about, of course, is character and leadership development. Some of the things we have a program called Passport to Manhood, Smart Moves. One's Smart Girls and one's Smart Moves. Or there's Smart Girls for the younger ones, sorry, and then for the teens it's Smart Moves. And again, abstaining from drugs and alcohol, making smart choices, go to school, graduate from school. If you get a job, tips on how to get a job, how to keep a job. We have a Youth of the Year program, which you all probably have seen in the newspaper. That's a fairly rigorous program. So we have kids that are nominated, and then they have adult mentors that help them through the process. They have to write speeches, they have to give those speeches in public. There are criteria that they have to meet to be a Youth of the Year nominee. And it's a huge learning process to see someone at the beginning being afraid to speak in public, or not really knowing how to write a speech, or not knowing maybe how to present themselves in a professional manner. By the end, those kids are talking to us at board meetings, and I've seen one process, but it was a really great process. And to see Alexis at the end of that process, she really had grown. And as a 15, 16-year-old girl, to be able to speak to a room of adults is impressive. So that's another one that we're proud of. And we have Money Matters, talking about money, getting a job, how do you manage your money. And again, all of these programs are dependent on volunteers. So if there are any of these programs that you hear about that you say, I was a finance guy, I was a great money manager, I could help a kid learn how to, not go into debt at 18 years old, or I can help them learn how to budget a little more wisely. Please let us know. We love our volunteers. We have a volunteer group of about 100 volunteers on the list, but of course with COVID it's been cut back, sadly. Not that the list has been cut back, but the involvement had to be cut back quite a bit. And we're slowly bringing them back in, especially now that we're back to after-school hours and helping kids. We have the reading program and so forth going. So if you're interested, please let me know after my talk here. Let's see. I talked about summer. I talked about measuring our programs. Our staff has made so many things possible in the last 2 years. I have to give a shout out to the program staff at the Boys and Girls Club. So when the club shut down, was forced to shut down due to COVID, I was before my time, but the stories are legendary, right? They were shut down and they said, oh my gosh, with all these kids that rely on us every day. And one of the things that they rely on us for is a hot, healthy meal. So every day, kids get a meal too after school, and sometimes that's their dinner. And so Philip and the skeleton crew that was left went to work and put together a food distribution program. And from March to August, they distributed over 30,000 meals. And when you come for a tour, you'll see the size of our kitchen. It's not huge. It's not a big industrial kitchen. And with about 4 to 6 people daily, they pumped out whatever the math is, that number of meals, and they set up distribution sites so that parents or families could come to different churches. We had sites set up in different places and pick up meals for their families. And we included not only club members, right, in that we included the families. And sometimes there were toddlers and younger kids that we typically wouldn't serve, but we did serve. So, and a lot of that was possible through COVID funding, and it made a big difference. It helped us stay connected to the community and to our members, and I think that's probably one of the reasons we were able to get back up and running as well as we have post-COVID, because they knew we cared, we knew we were out there. So a lot of people say, you know, we have a lot of staff members now that have been there for several years, and anyone that could come back post-COVID, we invited them back. And people say, why do they stay? You know, and it's they love the work, they believe in the kids, they believe in the mission, and they can see the results every day of what they're doing. And they're the boots on the ground, they're the front line, right? My job is to help promote it, help fund it, you know, help them have the tools they need to do these programs. And we couldn't do any of it without the support of our community. So thank you for having me. If you have any questions about the club, please ask. I'm sure I missed some important topics, but please let me know if you have any questions. And if Amy will schedule that tour, I'd be happy to give you a tour of the building, because it'll knock your socks off, I promise you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she ain't kidding, the kitchen is not big. I'm surprised 6 or 8 people fit.
Yeah.
No, it's very cute. It's very cute though.
Yes. It works. It works. It does the job, but it was working triple time
Yeah,
in those days. So are there any questions?
Jill, you talk about the facility, but you didn't talk about how the facility that currently is there came about.
Okay. So in 2016, 2017, the Boys and Girls Club was living in a lumber warehouse that had been converted into a Boys and Girls Club, and they had made the decision that they needed to remodel that club, and they had started a capital campaign. And they were about halfway through that capital campaign when a catastrophic fire hit the Boys and Girls Club. And it was a total loss. So thankfully, Philip was the only person in the building. He had gotten in early, and the fire started in the attic space above his office, and he smelled the smoke and got out. But unfortunately, the building was a total loss. And so what that caused them to do was to regroup, right? They had to go back, they went to the insurance company, they had to talk to the capital campaign committee, and they decided it was not worth saving. They would scrap the building, and instead of a remodel, it became a build. So that upped the ante for that capital campaign, and again, the community support was tremendous and phenomenal, and I'm very proud to say that the building is debt-free, the building is paid for, but we do still need support to run the programs on a daily. I always throw that in there. We do still need that support to keep the programs going, but the community support was phenomenal, and they raised over $2.6 million total. That included some of the insurance money and the capital campaign money. But thank you for bringing that up, because it was
to say catastrophe after catastrophe, but that was bad enough. and then COVID hit, and then COVID hit again, and here we are, still wondering. But we've really been able to pivot and be agile and figure out ways that we can serve the community and serve the kids, really. But serving the kids serves the community. I want to say it was actually an RWC employee that made a comment to us at one point that the employees here wouldn't have been able to come to work if there wasn't a place for their kids to go during the day. So they had a safe place, positive place for their kids to be for oh gosh, I don't know how many months now, I'm losing track, but we operated on a 10-hour day schedule when the schools were closed or when they were doing virtual learning. Instead of being a 4-hour day after school program, we pivoted to a 10-hour day program, 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Keeping the kids engaged, keeping them on track with their schoolwork, feeding them healthy meals, because then we were doing breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So it's a foundation, it's a safety net for the community that sometimes may seem invisible. But if you don't have a place for your kid to go, you can't go to work. So you stay, so it's a benefit for all of us to have the Boys and Girls Club. I truly believe that. And I believe it makes our community stronger when we have kids who believe in the future and see opportunity in their futures, and the kids love being there. I mean, it's so much fun. I hope when you come for your tour, we'll time it so your tour will end right when the kids are walking in, because when they come in, the energy just goes through the roof. They brighten all of our days. They're loud, they're laughing, they're fun, and they're excited to be there. And that's really rewarding for us as well.
Any other questions?
Yes, ma'am.
I want to ask about a possibility. Might you get members of the Boys and Girls Club to come and speak to us once a year and tell us what they have learned, or get a chance to speak before an adult crowd, if you will. Might that be a possibility? Because I think that we would want to know, at least I do, what they are learning and how much not only pride they are taking in what they're doing, hopefully, but just seeing how they're growing and changing into adults, I guess, eventually.
Absolutely. I love that idea, and I think that will definitely be possible. Probably we have to get past COVID because some of them aren't vaccinated. But yes, I love that idea. And I think they would be excited to come and talk with you too.
Anyone else? Well, thank you, Jill, for coming.
Thank you for having me.
I just wanted to go over the speakers that we have in a couple of months coming. So in February, Paige Henley is scheduled to talk about Leedstown. In March, Sheriff McCraney will be here to give us some updates and what's going on around the county. And then, I can't remember the speaker's name, but the director from Hewlett's Point Tavern will be here after that. So that's what's coming up in the next few months, just to give you a heads up. Okay? Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh.